My first encounter with Jamal was transformative, the most intensely pleasurable experience of my life. He was young, yet possessed a level of sexual experience that was astonishing. The foreplay alone was unlike anything I'd ever known, a carefully orchestrated symphony of touch and sensation that left me breathless. He awakened something within me, a dormant fire that had been suppressed for far too long. The intimacy was complete, culminating in his release inside me. Yet even that wasn't enough to satiate the burgeoning desire that had been ignited. It was as if a dam had broken, releasing a torrent of feelings I hadn't realized I possessed. Years of emotional and physical deprivation had left me starved for passion, and once I tasted it, the hunger only intensified. If you've read this far, your intrigue is evident. This is just the beginning of a story that delves into the complexities of desire, betrayal, and self-discovery. Please like, share, and subscribe for more as the narrative unfolds in unexpected ways. My life before Jamal was, on the surface, idyllic. I had a loving, or so I thought, husband, Fareed, and a family. I'd been married for over 40 years, a mother for almost as long. But somewhere amidst the routines and responsibilities of family life, I lost myself. I became a wife, a mother, a homemaker, but not a woman in the truest sense. Fareed, though a good man and faithful husband, had grown distant over the years. His touch became infrequent, his words sparse, his desire for me seemingly non-existent. We'd fallen into a comfortable but emotionally barren routine. I tried to rationalize it, telling myself that love evolves, that marriage isn't solely about passion. But the truth was, a deep-seated hunger was gnawing at me, a hunger I'd ignored for far too long. The lack of intimacy wasn't just about physical touch. It was a profound absence of emotional connection, of feeling seen and desired. It manifested as a growing sense of emptiness, a quiet desperation that whispered in the lonely spaces of my life. I felt invisible, a ghost in my own home, a silent observer in my own marriage. I lacked the language to express this void, to articulate the profound longing for connection that consumed me. My attempts at rekindling the spark were met with a tired acceptance, a resignation that further deepened the chasm between us. I felt trapped in a silent, unspoken agreement of emotional detachment. Then came Jamal. He moved in next door with his mother, a vibrant 21-year-old college student. His dark skin seemed to glow in the sun, his tall, strong physique radiating youthful confidence. He possessed an easy smile and an energy that revitalized a world I'd almost forgotten existed. Initially, I dismissed the undeniable attraction as a foolish infatuation, something absurd for a woman my age. What could a young man like him possibly see in someone like me? But his gaze, his words, his manner, they resonated with a depth that transcended age and experience. There was a respect in his eyes, a genuine interest in me as a person, not just an older woman. He saw beyond the years, beyond the perceived boundaries, into the heart of a woman who had long been forgotten. This wasn't just physical attraction. It was a profound acknowledgement of my worth, a validation of my lingering sensuality. This connection felt revolutionary, risky, yet exhilaratingly liberating. The burgeoning relationship with Jamal forced me to confront the long-ignored issues in my marriage. It exposed the unspoken resentments and unmet needs that had quietly festered for years, leaving me feeling hollow and unseen. The intimacy with Jamal wasn't simply a physical act. It was a powerful catalyst for self-discovery, a journey into reclaiming my own identity and desires. The decision to act on these feelings was fraught with guilt and fear. The fear of judgment, the fear of shattering the facade of a seemingly perfect life, and the profound guilt associated with betraying a man I had vowed to love and cherish. But the overwhelming sense of longing for fulfillment ultimately outweighed the fear. The question was not simply, was it right? Zrenia, but was it true to me? And the answer, regardless of the consequences, was undeniably yes. The journey had just begun. The tremor in my body hadn't fully subsided. The lingering warmth of Jamal's touch a stark contrast to the chill creeping into the room. His fingers, ghosting over my lips, sent another shiver down my spine. "You should tell your story," he whispered, a mischievous glint in his eyes. I frowned, confusion clouding my features. Tell my story. Yes, he insisted, the smile deepening. You should let people know that pleasure isn't just for the young. It's not a privilege reserved for those in the flush of youth, but a fundamental human need that transcends age, circumstance, and societal expectations. It's a right, a feeling, as essential as breathing, eating, or sleeping. I laughed, shaking my head. No one would listen, I argued, though a sliver of doubt pricked at my confidence. He propped himself up on one elbow, his eyes twinkling. They would. They'll trust you. Maybe there are others like you. Others who are starving, afraid to admit the hunger gnawing at their souls, afraid of the societal judgment, the potential repercussions. If you're listening to this, he continued, addressing an unseen audience, maybe you understand. Maybe you too are hiding a hunger inside you, waiting for the right moment to feed it, to embrace the forbidden, to finally allow yourself the indulgence you crave. His words resonated with a truth I hadn't fully articulated, even to myself. The unspoken desires, the secret yearnings, they were universal. The shame and guilt associated with extramarital affairs often silence these needs. This silence, this secrecy, is a form of self-imposed repression, fueling the very feelings of guilt that are meant to be controlled. If you want to hear more, he continued, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper, if you want to know how deep I fell into this pleasure, don't forget to like and subscribe because the best parts of my story are yet to come. The precarious balancing act, my marriage to Farid and my affair with Jamal became a game, a dangerous, thrilling game I was hopelessly addicted to. Each day, I slipped between two worlds, the dutiful wife, attentive and caring, at least outwardly, and the passionate lover, consumed by forbidden desires. The thrill of deception, the adrenaline rush of nearly being discovered fueled my actions. It was exhilarating, reckless, and intoxicating. Initially, I was cautious, ensuring our meetings were discreet. But desire, a potent and relentless force, quickly overshadowed my caution. We took risks, late-night rendezvous in his car, whispered conversations in my own home, stolen touches when no one was looking. These furtive moments, the shared secrets, deepened our connection, intensifying the forbidden nature of our relationship. The more time I spent with Jamal, the more hollow my marriage to Farid felt. I found myself growing impatient with my husband, his touch becoming foreign and unwanted. I avoided him, feigning headaches, extending my time away from home, always seeking to steal precious moments with Jamal. The close calls were nerve-wracking, pushing the boundaries of my carefully constructed charade. A forgotten earring in Jamal's room, a misplaced scarf, the lingering scent of his cologne on my clothes. These were the almost exposed threads that threatened to unravel the entire fabric of my deceit. But the thrill of nearly being caught, the tantalizing proximity to exposure, only fueled my addiction. I was no longer simply a wife. I was a liar, a cheat, a woman wrestling with desires far greater than social expectations. The line between right and wrong blurred, leaving me adrift in a sea of guilt and pleasure. My life had become a carefully constructed double life, the price of which was a deepening sense of self-betrayal, a constant undercurrent of anxiety, and a profound uncertainty about my future. The question remained, how long could I maintain this precarious balance before it all came crashing down? The fear was as intoxicating as the forbidden pleasure itself. I expected insults, maybe even for him to throw me out of the house. What I didn't expect was the deep sadness that settled over him like a heavy fog. He sank into a chair, rubbing his temples. How could you do this to our